Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. First, I want to apologize for my family in Chicago because I was there for one day, less than 24 hours, and I didn't call anybody. I hadn't been feeling good most of my travel to get there, and then when I got to my room, I was still not feeling great. I decided to just have something to eat, stay in bed, and just really rest because that's what my body needed. The next morning, when it was time to go do the work, I got up early, I exercised, and I overdid it because I was trying to get back to get back. I looked out my window over Chicago, the city, the skyline, and I remembered all the places and things that I did when I lived there. My manager, Sister Janine, reminded me of the time that we had walked somewhere. She asked me where we were going and how far it was. I was like, it's just down the street. We can go. Come on. And when she said we walked for miles and miles and miles, and the wind was whipping and it was cold, and she was like, "Who is this woman and why is she walking me to death?" And yet, the next morning when it was time to go do the work that I was there to do, I couldn't even walk around the corner to where we were going. It was literally around the corner. And there was a lot of shame around that. There was a lot of, um, I don't know, shame and some guilt and embarrassment. And yet I knew that I needed to conserve the energy that I had for the work that I was there to do. And so I politely asked the bellman if he could hail a cab. And I explained to him that I was only going around the corner, but I would take care of the cab driver. And I was, sorry, but I was going through something. And he said, "No worry, my sister, no worry at all. We're all here for one another." And I was like, "Ooh, thank you." He called the cab over and he explained everything that was going on. The cab driver didn't understand all of it, but he kept taking his time explaining it. And then he said, "And you take her and you come back, and I'm going to put you back first in line. Don't worry, I'll take care of you." I was like, whoa. So we got around the corner. I, paid the cab driver who didn't even turn on his meter. And I paid him. And he was like, "This is so good, my sister. Thank you so much. Praise be to God. God will bless you. You will be fine." And he was praying for me. And then he looked up and he said, "Look, there is a man who wants to go to the airport. And now I get to take him. Praise be to God." And I was like, "Thank you." I went in, I did the work that I was to do, and it was wonderful. I had all the energy I needed, I had all the joy I needed. I was surrounded by brilliant, loving, engaged people from Strata Decision Technologies. It was an amazing, amazing event, and they were so engaged. At one point, I said out loud the thing that had happened, that I had been embarrassed and ashamed to have to take a cab from around the corner. Afterwards, a beautiful woman came up and said, she wears two braces, and she also had to take a car from around the corner. And she said it was so good to hear that I wasn't alone. And it was so good to hear that I could put that shame down. Shame holds us back, it keeps us from becoming all that we can possibly be. I realized yesterday that sometimes my struggle is what others need to see their own humanity. I realized that in that struggle and sharing that struggle, it becomes a blessing to others because it's their opportunity to help. I realize that I'm not the only one going through it, and sometimes somebody needs to hear and see that this black woman is not superhuman. I also remembered that what I did in the past may not be what I can do now, but I travel so much further at the speed of light times itself. Because when you work to help set others free, you get to be also. I love you.